Morning, everybody.
Morning, Rabbi.
This week's parsha is Parshas Behar b'chukoisai. We'll focus on Behar. So the parsha starts off by Daber Hashem al Moshe. God spoke to Moshe Behar Sinai Lamar at Mount Sinai to give over to the Jewish people. Daber el Bnei Yisrael, speak to the Jewish people, Marta Leim, and tell them when they come to the land that I give to them, V'shav Sa'aretz Shabbos LaHashem. There has to be something called Shemitah, sabbatical. There's Shabbat for the person, there's Shabbat for the soul, or for time, and there's Shabbat for the land. Olam Shana Nefesh, world, year, and person. We'll talk about that in a second. But there's something interesting that Rashi says. Rashi says, I mean, you have to understand, we're already Yisroi, Mishpatim, Truma, Tzav, Kisisa, V'Yaakov, Kudei, V'Yikra Tzav. It's already almost it's a chumash. It's a whole book since the giving of the Torah. And right now, we're mentioning a law that God told Moses at Mount Sinai. What's this Mount Sinai business over here? Mount Sinai happened a while ago. So Rashi says, Ma inyan Shemitah al Har Sinai. Why is this laws of Shemitah have the mention, the reference of Har Sinai? All the mitzvahs are said from by Sinai. All the mitzvahs were given to Moses by Sinai. So why is there a highlight over here that these were the laws that were given to Moshe at Mount Sinai? But it's coming to teach us something. Just like here, you have all the details. It says, God spoke to Moses at Mount Sinai, and we have all the details of Shemitah. Do this, don't do this, don't do that. All the details. So too, you should know everything and anything that we have from the Torah is all the details already given to Moses at Mount Sinai. This is all tradition. This is all passed down from God. It's not something that anybody made up or anybody decided to elaborate on. These details are all there. That's the first thing. That you should know that all the details that we have about Shemitah, which in a sense is a very challenging law. You're telling somebody, when you come to Israel, you plant for 6 years, and the 7th year is sabbatical. What are you going to do for the 7th year? Nothing. What are you going to eat for the 7th year? Nothing. What are you going to have? Nothing. So how can you do that? It's very hard to do that. So Hashem says to Moshe Rabbeinu to tell the Jewish people, you're going to ask. The Torah says this. You're going to ask, what are we going to eat? What are we going to eat? What are we going to eat? It's a whole year. It's not 3 days. So v'tzivisias berchasi, I will command my blessing that in the 6th year you will have enough crop for 6, 7, and the following cycle 1 till things start growing towards the end of the year. So there's a tremendous level of belief that a person has to have over here. There's this tremendous dedication that we have to have, and when we do that, we're able to see the blessing. But just to elaborate a little more on the concept of Shabbat, there's Shabbat for the person, there's Shabbat for time, and Shabbat for the land. So Shabbat for the person is Saturday. Person has to stop working. You can't work on Shabbos. You can't, some people, it's very challenging for them to be able to cut out 1 day of business. For some people, they love it once they get to taste it. But to be able to do that when you're in the game of, neck to neck with somebody else or in business in general, it's very challenging to be able to do that. But if you understand that this is the dynamics of the world, this is the dynamics of how Hashem created everything, and if you do that, it's going to work out for you. So you're able to do it. Then comes Shabbos for the time. We have holidays, Jewish holidays. These are this is based on the time, on the calendar. So there are times that we settle. It's like a Shabbos, but this is based not on the week or on the cycle of the week, but rather on the calendar, the Jewish calendar of when Pesach, Shavuos, Sukkot, so on and so forth. This is a Shabbat for time. And then you have a Shabbat for the world. Shabbat for the world takes place in Israel, in the land of Israel, on the that we can't farm, we can't plant, and we can't do things like that. That's on the map, as they say. So these are 3 Shabbats that we all have to be able to connect with. One is more personal than the other 2, but they all pretty much demand from us to have a belief in Hashem. Now it says like this: Sheish shanim tizra, 6 years you should plant. You have a shin and a mem and an ayin at the last of these 3 words. Sheish is a shin. Shanim is a mem. Shanim. Tizra is like an ayin over there. Is shema. If you are able to accept that, then you're really accepting the yoke of heaven. You're saying, I believe everything's from Hashem. May we be able to do so in our personal lives and see the blessings of Hashem. B'karav mamish. Amen.